plata o plomo.
Alright guys, so we got, let me get some pliers. Oh. Looking from his tool spa. Guess I'll use these. It's like Alex shit. Anyways, we got this 2022 Dodge Charger Hellcat. This was built by another shop. Previous shop had put this on 91 with a 280 pulley. Here in California, that's not good with that fuel. Bear with me because these pliers are whack. But customer came to us for a smaller pulley and to convert it over to E85, so that's what we're gonna do. We already put the smaller pulley on there, and then we're gonna go ahead and put our files in. We took the 91 out, put the 85, so we're gonna go ahead and put the files in. We'll go ahead and do our steps, and then make sure our fuel trims look good. Hopefully the customer didn't do too many pulls where he hurt the motor with 91 in it and a 280 pulley on it. But we'll go ahead and see how everything looks, so stay tuned. Alright guys, so we did our steps and our baby pull. We're gonna go ahead and look at our we're gonna go ahead and look at our log right now, make sure our fuel pressure looks good, our fuel trims are right where we want to see them, and then we'll send it over to Z. And if everything looks good, then we'll go ahead and get a revision, and then go ahead and do a full pull. We'll see what it makes, so we'll catch the video up there.
Dump the fuel, let's go get more new fuel.
Alright guys, so we got a 2500 GMC right behind us. This is coming in for our IGLA anti-theft system. We have this Mustang that also came for our IGLA anti-theft system. We just got a Trackhawk dropped off for a diagnostic. This one is staying in rear wheel drive, so we're going to check to see if there's something going on with the transfer case control module or transfer case itself. So it could be something electrical or the motor on the actual transfer case. We got the supercharger going on for Kamal. We have a Hellcat on the dyno that we're doing right now. That's the one you guys saw. Right now the fuel trims are acting up on it, so we're just going to completely dump out the 85 we have in there and go get some fresh 85, put it in there. Maybe there was still some at the bottom that wasn't fully removed, we don't know. Usually we're really good at removing the full 91 and putting the 85 in there, or it could have been contaminated 85 that, you know, that happened. So we're gonna remove that full tank of E85 out. We're gonna go send someone to get some more E85, dump it in there, see how the fuel trims look, and go from there. We have the diagnostic for the fuel pumps. Customer came in, he authorized that, so we're gonna go ahead and order those. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it that we got going on. So we're gonna go get the fuel, and then we'll go see what happens. All right, guys, so we got this Trackhawk here. This is Mo's. So we have the, we feel binding, and it's only when turning. So we think it's gonna be the transfer case control module that sits under the driver's seat here. So we got his authorization to go ahead and replace it. So that's what you see me doing now. I'm gonna go ahead and put the new one in there, and then we'll drive it, and then we will make sure that the binding is gone, and then if everything's good, then we'll go ahead and have him pick up, and yeah, that'll be it. So we'll catch the video up right now on the test drive. All Alright guys, so we got the module installed. We're gonna go for a drive. Obviously, like I said, it was just when turning we felt the binding. So we're gonna go ahead and do some U-turns, some circles, just verify that that binding is no longer there. It is pretty common, not so common, but it's a common issue for these modules to go out. It's not like an everyday thing, but it's always that rather than the transfer case that stops working. So right now I'm coming up to a roundabout, so I'm gonna just do the full roundabout, full circle, and just verify that that binding is no longer there. There's no lights on the dash or anything like that, so let's go ahead and do this. Yeah, it feels good. So successful diagnostic, another successful diagnostic here for the books. Transfer case control module, way cheaper than the actual transfer case. So we'll go ahead and go back to the shop and we'll call Mo and let him know that his Trackhawk is ready for pickup. Alright guys, so we're here with Edgar. He is installing the Mighty Mouse catch can on our shop Durango. So I've been running it like this for a little bit without a catch can, so it was time to get one. So we did the radiator mount, just easier for this setup for the Whipple. So he's running the lines right now. He's getting the fittings in, and then we'll go ahead and get that on, and then we'll show you guys what it looks like after the installation. And then yeah, so we have him right now trying to get the fitting in. It's kind of a tight fit, so some WD-40 in there and get it on there, no problem. So any vehicle, whether it's only making a little bit of power, or if it's making a good amount of power, high horsepower vehicle, we do recommend the catch can. That's going to prevent any blow by, any oil going into your intake manifold. It's very recommended for any vehicle, whether it's NA or naturally aspirated, or if it's boosted, forced induction, whatever it may be, we do recommend the catch can. So yeah, contact us here at the shop if you are interested in that. We got Melvin working on that IGLA. We're gonna go this way. We just finished that Hellcat that is on the dyno. Made pretty good power actually. So like I said, that was on 91, so now we have it on the 85. So the amount of power it made, I believe, was like 970, because we did pull it down. So we're gonna walk over here and look at the dyno graph real quick. Let's see what it made actually. Yeah, so 978. So if we look at our graph here, or 978 all the way through. So that was our final pull for this vehicle. Now, obviously, the customer does need to do supporting modifications like the drive shaft. It already has a differential brace, but if he's going to be doing digs, he definitely needs a tire, no matter if it's dig or rolls. So I'm sure he has that at home. This vehicle is from Bakersfield, so it's not in the area, but yeah, made good power. Customer was having some issues with the tune from the previous shop. Like I said, on 91, just no bueno. So now it's on full 85. The customer's on the pulley they want. So yeah, we'll go ahead and get this off the dyno and the customer can go enjoy it. Alright guys, so let's see what we got going on today here at Full Blown Performance. So we have this Trackhawk that's in for the diagnostic for the rear wheel drive. It's only in rear wheel drive, it's not engaging four wheel. So we have Alex checking that out. We have this car here. This is one that we had on the dyno yesterday. So this vehicle on the dyno was burning oil. Anytime we would go ahead and do our steps, there was just oil coming out, the exhaust. It was basically smoking. So we went ahead and pulled the plugs out. We thought it was, at first we thought it was an injector. Like I said, this was previously tuned by another shop, 280 pulley on 91. Which, like I said, is a big no-no. So we pulled the injectors, test flowed them, the injectors were fine. We pulled the spark plugs, and that's where we found a lot of oil. So upon inspection, upon Alex coming and checking this out with the technician, seems like there is an issue in the motor. So the motor is no good, no bueno. So we're gonna go ahead and disassemble it, pull the motor out, and we'll go ahead and quote the customer out on some options. But yeah, that's sad to see that. You know, it's a newer Hellcat 2022. It does, I think, have like 24,000 miles on it, but just because of the lack of knowledge, you know, the customer trusted whoever he took it to build it, and 280 on 91 is just too much. So we'll go ahead and do that. We have this Trackhawk that just got dropped off for a diagnostic. It has a check engine light on, so upon inspecting it, it has evap codes. So we're gonna have a technician check the evap system, see if one of the lines is messed up or if it's something with the fuel tank, related to the fuel tank. We have been working on Kamal. This one is basically done. Since he had locked up the blower and he kept trying to turn it on, he did fry the starter. So we're waiting on the starter to come in so we can go ahead and put that on, turn it on, bleed the system, and get it out of here. And then we have this back on the dyno. We're gonna go ahead and finish the tuning on it, and then we'll get this out to the customer. So that's pretty much what we got going on. And then I think tomorrow we're gonna have the car wash guy and wash the cars. The weather got a little better, so I know the cars do look a little dirty, but it was raining, so just bear with us. So we have tomorrow someone coming to wash all the vehicles, get them all nice and pretty. So yeah, I think that's all we got going on today. Oh, we actually have over here, this is Habibi Hawk. This one is getting a transmission. And then this is the 5.7 that we spoke about, that there was stripped head bolts and loose and basically used lifters, or the lifters were no good. So we're going ahead and we have the heads back from the machine shop. We're gonna put new head gaskets, new lifters, new cam, new spark plugs, just gaskets, basically new, the whole top end rebuilt. So we have Juan doing that. And then we have Habibi Hawk. This is gonna be getting the transmission. We got stock from the dealer. So we have Edgar putting the transmission in, and the customer wants to do the Eibach lowering springs, which just got in today. So that should be over here. So I just got these in. UPS just dropped them off. So not only do we do performance, but we do suspension as well. TRX, if you guys want to do a leveling kit, you guys want to do some off-road tires, wheels, whatever it is. Trackhawk, Durango, Charger, Scat Pack, Hellcat, whatever it is. If you're not looking to do performance-wise, we also do suspension-wise. Whatever it may be, whatever it is for the vehicle, we should be able to do here. So give us here a call at the shop. But yeah, that's what we got going on today. All right, guys, so we got this 2018 Dodge Challenger RT 392. This vehicle is the one that has the Edelbrock 2650 supercharger on it. We went ahead and put a revision from Z. We have the revision on, we have the vehicle on. We're gonna pull to 5,000 RPM. If our fuel trims and everything looks good, we'll send that over to Z. And then if he gives us okay, we'll go ahead and do a full pull, and then we'll send this over to the customer. So right now we're just letting it warm up, so we can go ahead and do that pull for him. So yeah, we'll catch the video up right there. All right, guys, so while we let the vehicle warm up, we're gonna do a little Q&A with Abel. So you're gonna ask me questions, and I'll go ahead and answer them.
So how was your first day on the dyno?
My first day on the dyno, it was actually a F-150. Or we're tuning with Rob. So Alex made me hop in with him and just basically go over how we need to look at the fuel trims, we need to look at fuel pressure, we need to look see if there's any knob. Just basically look over all the logs, make sure you're filling the car. Basically the dyno is just an instrument, so we're using it as an instrument to be able to replicate us being on the real world. So, you know, if you're driving the car and you want to make sure you're filling out for any misfire, any hesitation. So, and ever since then, you know, on the first few ones, he was with me, then we swapped, and he was making sure that everything was being looked over, and well, yeah, that's pretty it. So since Alex is just, you know, busy running the shop, it just made everything much more easier. You'll catch him on the dyno, or you catch me on the dyno. whoever's available to get these vehicles out. If we had 2 dynos, that'd be sick. You know, you catch him on one, me on the other, get these cars out faster. But that'd be coming soon when we get our new shop. But for now, it's just 1 dyno, and yeah, it's pretty cool, pretty simple.
How do you feel when people, like customers, stare at you while you're on the dyno?
I feel like doing my car, you know. So I mean, I've had high horsepower vehicles on the dyno, you know, and that's usually where I have to have someone sit in the trunk, because it does spin a lot on the dyno, and that's where it gets a little scary. But yeah. Alright, so back to the video to go ahead and do the pull. We're warmed up. We're going to go ahead and go into 5th gear. That's the gear we pull these on, from 3,000 RPM to 5,000 RPM. While we wait for all our files to pull up, back to the Q&A. I'm gonna, not Q&A, but a fact is, one thing I don't like is vehicles on 91 that are being tuned. Just the smell is just gives me a headache. But it is what it is. I'm sure no one likes the smell of 91. 85 is another thing, but on that baby pull we made 609. So that's not bad. We're gonna go ahead and stop the logs, go over the logs, make sure everything looks good, and then we'll do our full pull.
Alright, Chris, have you ever had anything happen to you on the dyno?
Once. Thankfully, once.
Clear.
Tomorrow, what comes clear?
The windows.
Oh, what, it came?
Yeah, it came.
So have you ever had anything happen to you on the dyno?
Unfortunately, yes. I did one time. Thankfully, no other times, but it was a Jeep SRT8 built motor with the Whipple supercharger. I was doing my steps, and then I did my baby pull. It was like 3,000 to 4,000 RPM. And that, what mod did it get? I think it had just got, so it had got a built motor, but we had already put a base tune. Customer took it to break it in, and then it came back for us to go ahead and do the dyno. So usually on the first dyno, when we're putting in like a base tune to get the vehicle, make sure it's 100% for the customer to take in, you'll see the car smoking because the new gaskets. This one was smoking, and when I saw the smoke, it wasn't the typical white smoke. It was a dark gray smoke. And I remember honking at one of the techs. They came and I was like, hey, check the smoke out. We always do that, just to, you know, make sure. And in fact, it was actually the exhaust manifold that was rubbing up against one of the liners on the driver's side. So it had caused a fire, a very small fire. We put it out in time, but you know, that's why on the dyno you always got to be observant. Make sure you know you're hearing all the stuff. You know, there's times where drive shafts break. It hasn't happened here, but drive shafts break. Stuff breaks all the time. You know, you're modifying the vehicle over its stock limits. There's stock parts on the vehicle. Shit's gonna break, or shit's gonna catch on fire. A transmission line can pop out. That's the most flammable. A transmission, one of the transmission lines was to pop out, and there'd be transmission fluid. That's where you panic. But yeah, I mean that's that one incident. That's it. Nothing else has happened as far as anything accident-wise, I guess you could say. But yeah, I think that's the only story I have. That's something that's happened on the dyno. I mean, there's been funny stuff on the dyno. There's one customer that was walking on the dyno. He was walking on the dyno, and no one was here to tell him not to. But He was walking on the dyno. His shoe got ate up by the dyno. Like, it had a crock, and it just like he got his foot. I don't know. Well, that shit was funny. It didn't get ate up by the dyno, but like the dyno like kind of, you know, it's spinning. It's gonna take whatever it is. But that shit was pretty funny. So yeah. Any other questions?
Yeah, what's the most embarrassing thing that's happened to you on the dyno?
Not embarrassing for me, but maybe embarrassing for the customer. I had a RT 5.7 on the dyno, came in for our stage 1. And usually on the dyno, when you're doing the pull, when you do a full pull, when we put our TCM dyno file in, it shifts it to the next gear. So that's when I have to get the controller. Once I feel it shift, I press the brake. That basically stops my log on the dyno and applies the dyno brakes. So anytime I pull up that file, it's gonna show that shift. So it's like a spike in power. So I think when it did that shift, it had sold like 600 horsepower of a naturally aspirated RT. That's why we go in and we have to cut the file. We have to cut the dyno run before that shift, because obviously that's not the real horsepower number. I know that there's some shops out there that show that as a real dyno horsepower number, but it's not the case. That is just a spike from the car shifting into the next gear. So the customer was present, and you know, I'm still logging the car's coming to a stop, and I'm trying to pull up my sheet. As you guys always see, I'm pulling it up and I'm going to edit it, and he's over here, you know, like, oh, my car made 600 horsepower. I'm like, no, bro. Like, I had to explain to him. I felt bad, but you know, it's just that horsepower on the 5.7 that's not achievable NA. You know, it's just stage 1. With the Whirlpool supercharger, we could, but not NA. So not embarrassing for me, but probably embarrassing for the customer.
All right, so we're gonna switch it up. Have you, and if you have, how did it feel blowing up your first motor on your personal car?
So the first and only motor I blew was on my 392 Durango. We had put a 2.9 Whirlpool supercharger on it, stock bottom end on 85. It was making like 650 to the wheel. I was beating that car every single day, beating it bad. Like, that was every day I was on it from red light to red light. It lasted me, I think, like a year and a half. And one time getting onto the freeway, I gassed it, and the car said nope. So that was my first motor. That's when I sold that, and I got the Hellcat Durango, and then right away we pulled the motor out to go ahead and start the high horsepower build. And then from there we did the Whipple, we did the motor, we did the transmission. Sorry about that. So we did everything on that. It was on a Whipple, I'm not gonna 3.0, and it was December of 2023. We were at an event at Irwindale, and we were having an overheating issue. So on the dyno, it was fine. When we dynoed it, it was fine. On the last pull, it spit out all the coolant. So we bled it, and it was fine. And then we went ahead and were racing it at Irwindale, and it was fine. And then after like the first pass, it started throwing the coolant again. So we couldn't figure out why we were overheating. We just kept bleeding it. I kept bleeding it. I just kept fucking where the thermostat housing is at. I just kept bleeding it there, and it was fine. It was running fine, just until when I would, go wide open throttle. That's when it'd start throwing the coolant out. So I had got called out by the lightning. I was like, fuck it, let's get it, let's run it. So we ran it, and the car was just overheating. So that was the last time I bled it. I was trying to get it home, and I couldn't even get it home. It was just overheating. And there was a Trailblazer I had pulled up on the way home from Irwindale, and he wanted to line it up, and I had to give him the sauce, So we lined it up on the freeway and did a pull, and right there I blew the head gasket. So basically what was happening is, since I didn't get the 625 headset, I had went the cheaper route. That was my fault. Alex had offered the headset. I said, nah, it's cool. And then it ended up lifting the heads, and I had torched the block and I torched the head. So on that, I had to get a new head and a new block. The pistons were fine, cam was fine, the crank was fine, but it's not really a blown motor, and I had lifted the heads. So.
You mean racing in Mexico, not out here, right?
Yeah, in Mexico. Yeah, obviously in Mexico. So, but yeah, that's it. Now I'm here, and with this newer Whipple, I didn't blow the motor, but I blew the transmission, transfer case, and differential. Because I did a first gear launch. So, yeah. But now we got another built transmission in there. We got a transfer case and a differential in there. And just waiting for the transmission to break in. I'm putting miles on it, and I'm not in a rush to race it. So, this shit, at the end of the day, it's costing me. So, I'm just breaking it in the way it's supposed to, not rushing it. And once it's ready, it's ready. But yeah, so we're done putting the revision here. We'll go ahead and do another baby pull, and we'll see what it makes.
Have you ever drove Escobar?
I have. So back when was it? This was, I think, 2020. I was at Alex's house. I just moved it from his driveway. That's it, like around the street. And then recently here at the shop, I've moved it around here. Done a U-turn, took it down the block, did a U-turn. But actually racing it, no. He's offered, but nah. I'm used to all-wheel drive. I don't think. I mean, I know Escobar will hook and it'll go. It's just, I'd rather have something like that happen in my car than in Alex's or someone else's car, So, no, I have not driven Escobar down the track. I have driven it, moving it around down the street, yes, but not on the track. I haven't done a pull on the track.
Will you do a pull on the track?
Well, he's offered, but I don't know.
Scared of that sauce?
Yeah. Especially with the wheelies it does, I'm good. Melvin has done the pull. Melvin don't care. He just goes. But all right, let's go ahead and do this pull. We did another baby pull. Let's send it over to Z. That one made 618. So I think on the full pull, it's probably gonna make like 650, 660. All right, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and do our full pull. And let's see what it makes. And one thing is, we always use the dyno brakes. Don't use the vehicle brakes unless there's obviously an emergency. So you gotta wait for it to come to decel and come to a stop, and then we'll go ahead and get on the vehicle brake to come to a complete stop. Just a pro tip.